Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Timeless Movie Podcast, episode number 105. My name is Victor Vasquez. Appreciate you joining me on another movie discussion, another journey into talking about a new movie that we got to check out in theaters or in streaming. We'll talk about our pros and cons, favorite moments, favorite performances, and then also recommend whether you guys should check it out in theaters, wait for streaming, or maybe even skip it. And the last segment will be, is this movie timeless after one viewing? Is it something that you would add to your collection to rewatch over and over and over again? I am super pumped because today's movie is going to be the last movie that we got to check out in 2024. But before we do that, I did want to call out that episode 104 is available now on all platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. On 104, I ended up talking about A Complete Unknown. It's a musical biopic about Bob Dylan. Timothy Chalamet stars in that film as Bob Dylan, and he delivers an awesome performance. So go check that out on all platforms. In the comments, in the reviews, let us know. What did you think about the movie? Did you think it was timeless? What did you think about the performance as Bob Dylan? Would really love to interact with you guys about that movie. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in to episode number 105, in which we are talking about Nosferatu. That's right. We're talking about Nosferatu. And if you hear that voice that was laughing with me, it's every 5 episodes. You know him. You love him. Mr. Every 5, Omar Vasquez. Omar, how's it going, man?
Good. I just realized I think I put the phone in the wrong place.
What do you mean?
Like, the sound kind of sounded like it was coming from the top of the phone, and I put the bottom of the phone.
No, I think it's the bottom. The speakers are on the bottom of the phone.
Well, let's hope it comes out good.
If not, we'll add it in.
Because I was excited about putting that Nosferatu SpongeBob scene.
SpongeBob. I mean, SpongeBob is integral to our life, so I'm really happy that we were able to at least use a clip for this podcast here. One of the first clips, Mr. Ohm, and I'm glad that you're the one to do it here on this podcast too.
I think it had to be me.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you're a real SpongeBob fan. Like, you
this
watched
is what I
it.
have to deal with every day like that. Like, just because I don't know an episode, like when this scene came out.
But like, I feel you watched it because it was on, you know? But
when we got cable, my first suggestion was, let's watch SpongeBob.
That's true.
There you go, man. That's all the proof you need.
One episode?
No, the initiation of wanting to watch it, you know, the inception of the idea.
Did it hook you though?
It did hook me. I was laughing. It would have been different if I watched them with you and then I was just straight face, not laughing.
But you would laugh at like every joke though.
That's just how I am, man.
All right.
Either way, we're talking about Nosferatu, directed by Robert Eggers. This is the last film of 2024 that me and Omar got to watch. Now, again, we didn't watch all the movies of 2024, but again, this is the one that we wanted to dive into it, and I'm really happy that, Omar, you're here with me to talk about this movie. Little bit of background before we jump into kind of our non-spoiler thoughts. I have not seen the original, I guess, Nosferatu, black and white film. Silent, maybe? I don't know.
It is.
It is? Okay, I haven't seen that. My only reference to Nosferatu, you heard it in the clip a couple minutes ago, is SpongeBob. That's the only time I've ever heard that name used in any way. I knew that it was like some type of a monster movie, but other than that, my background on all of this is just only hearing that from SpongeBob. Mr. Ohm, any kind of differences for you like that? Have you seen more clips of Nosferatu other than SpongeBob?
Yeah, I saw clips on TikTok of the movie.
Got it.
And it was actually scary.
Really?
Even though it was silent. Like, like the most famous scene is like, I guess it's Nicholas Holt's character.
Yep.
Like he's in the castle and he opens a door, and then Nosferatu's just standing there, and he's like this.
Yeah.
And he has like long pointy fingers.
Yep.
Given the fact that it's silent, I think that adds to the creepy factor, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because like I was more put off. I was like, wow. I actually felt like watching the movie.
Yeah.
The 1922 movie. I felt like watching it because it looked creepy, you know?
Oh, this is perfect then, man. You're going to provide at least a little bit more, at least from those tidbits that you've seen on TikTok, how to reference that to this movie. Another question I wanted to ask you, Mr. Ohm, what is your background with Robert Eggers? Have you seen some of his prior movies? Do you have anything that like kind of, you know, is on the top of your mind before you went to go watch Nosferatu?
I've seen The Lighthouse.
Oh, that's right.
Well, like, I think it's a movie you can't watch only once, only because it's like so.
Is it like abstract? Like, is it just like, I haven't seen it.
You know, a lot of people have compared it to like Lovecraftian horror. Because, you know, like how Lovecraft is like monsters like beyond our comprehension.
Yeah.
So there's no actual monsters in the movie. It's like a lighthouse, but the lighthouse is like the source of
the terror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty cool, but I don't know if it'd be timeless.
Yeah, got it. On my side, Mr. Ohm, I've seen The Northman. The Northman was the I think his Robert Eggers' last movie that he made, and I really enjoyed that one. Cinematically, it looks like very beautiful like that. Seeing it kind of like from this perspective of like almost like a Viking in a way, like Alexander Skarsgård plays this like very brute kind of character. Really cool, simple story, but that's really my only experience with it. So that's why I'm excited. I'm ready to go, Mr. Omar. If you're ready, let's go ahead and dive in. We ended up checking it out a couple days after Christmas, so let's go ahead and dive in to our non-spoiler thoughts and kind of give you a little bit of a sense of what we thought about the movie. Once again, just to make it clear, and a broken record many times, me and Omar do not talk about the movies that we watch together, especially if we're going to record. So this will be really our first kind of ideas and concepts of what we thought about the movie. Mr. Omar, I'll go ahead and start first. So I thought Nosferatu was a good movie. Not a great movie. I thought it's probably one of the most visually stunning movies that I've seen this year. It's so beautiful to look at. And considering that it's all like dark, naturally lit rooms, like there's everything just feels like you're actually in that period of the 1800s in Germany, which this film kind of took place. It just feels so like amazing to look at, especially on a big screen. So for me, the visual effects, the cinematography, all that was just like so captivating for me. The designs of all the different types of sets in the cities that they were in, the costumes that they were wearing, like everything just fit with like pulling you into the world, which is again something that I appreciated. Other thing that I got to call out is the performances. I mean, from Lily Rose Depp, Nicholas Hoult, Bill Skarsgård, which at the end of the movie I completely forgot that it was him who was playing like Count Orlok or Nosferatu.
I could never tell.
You just can't tell, like because of the prosthetics, the things that he's wearing, the voice that he's making is crazy. Willem Dafoe comes out in this film as well. So everybody performed really well. Why I think this movie is good and not great is because I feel like there's too much parts of the film that feel slow. And like what I mean by that, and I'll kind of dive into a little bit more later.
Pros and cons or what?
No. This is just like high level. I have more deeper things to talk about, but it just felt slow. But what's weird is that it didn't feel like the movie's 2 hours and like 10 minutes. It never felt like I was like, okay, when is this going to be over? It just felt like it was a little bit slower within the movie. And so that's kind of overall what I thought about the movie. Mr. Ohm, any kind of different thoughts from Nosferatu? What are your kind of non-spoiler kind of general ideas after watching the movie?
No, I think exactly the same.
Oh, got it. Got it. Yeah. Again, I still enjoyed it. I just thought that it could have been a little bit better with other things. And again, we'll dive into more spoiler thoughts so I can kind of pick your brain. Before we kind of get to those spoiler thoughts, though, I just want to give a little general synopsis about the movie for folks that are maybe on the fence of watching it. What the heck is this movie about? So just kind of run through it a little bit. The story typically falls around the story of Ellen, who is played by Lily Rose Depp. She ends up in a desperate attempt calling on a guardian angel, and instead this kind of demonic, type of entity comes and basically, becomes a part of her life in some way. And then from there, she ends up falling in love with this character named Thomas, who is played by Nicholas Hoult. And then as you start kind of going through the story, you start seeing that things like are kind of happening to her where she almost gets possessed in a kind of way. She's unable to sleep, and she just feels like there's a shadow following her everywhere she goes. People think that she's crazy. People think that something's wrong with her mentally. And so as these things are starting to go on, you then start following Thomas, the husband. He's like a real estate agent. And he basically gets assigned to go deal with this man named Count Orlok to buy property in Germany. And as he goes, you start seeing who this Count Orlok really is, like the type of entity that he is. And you start seeing the complexities of like what the heck is going to happen in this story in regards to like what Count Orlok really wants. What does he look like? What the hell is he? And then how that all kind of basically wraps up with, Ellen, and how she's going to have to basically play a big part in dealing with this entity that she basically conjured in some way. So that's really like where the story kind of revolves, is basically, Ellen, Thomas, and Count Orlok kind of in this triangle of a sort. And then you have all their kind of characters sprinkled in and out of the movie, kind of dealing with the, again, the complexities of what's happening with Ellen. How do you deal with something like you can't really see? You're just hearing Ellen kind of go through these sleepwalks and all this different stuff. But again, overall, I enjoyed it. Anything else to add about the movie like that from like a general synopsis? Anything else like themes or things that you kind of caught on to that, won't spoil too much?
No.
What about a recommendation? Would you recommend people to check this out in theaters like now? Would you ask them wait for streaming, or is this more of like a maybe you should skip this one?
You know what? Like visually, I think I would recommend a theater
Yeah.
because it looks so good.
It does.
And I don't think like you'll get the same effect at home,
Mm-hmm.
but no way. Like there's so many shots that look beautiful.
I can't wait to talk about our favorite shot because there's so many to choose from.
I really can't pick one.
Mr. Rome, other thing, my recommendation is just like yours. I would recommend to go watch it in theaters. The captivating part about the movie is watching from a big screen all of the visuals and the performances. So, well, that's our recommendation, guys. Again, non-spoiler thoughts, just a little bit of a synopsis of the plot, just to kind of give you an idea. Like if you're interested, we definitely recommend go check this out in theaters. With that, though, Mr. Rome, let's go ahead and transition. Let's start spoiling a little bit more details. Let's start kind of dissecting why we liked it or things that we didn't like. So let's go into our pros and cons section. Mr. Rome, I'll start with you. I did a lot of rambling on the plot synopsis, so kick us off, man. What is one of your pros of Nosferatu?
Look, you said them all.
Got it.
Like visually, it's up there with like some of the best looking movies of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Like other ones that come to mind is probably like Dune, Conclave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this one. Yeah.
I would even put Furiosa in there. Like Furiosa looked.
Yeah.
It always looks cool when you see you're in the desert like that. So
yeah. So that's my first pro.
Got it.
I'm pretty sure you had that too.
I did. I had it in regards to not only the visuals but the camera. Did you notice that there was a lot of like almost like one shots like in various different ways? But also, did you notice how many transitions there were? Like sometimes you would transition from one character to another. Like there's this one where Ellen is going to a window and she's like looking to like talk to Count Orlok, and then it kind of goes into her body, and then it comes out, and then now you're seeing Count Orlok, and it's like all these crazy transitions that like keep your attention every single time you're like looking at the movie. Dude, I thought that was really slick. Like I love it when you can do like very seamless transitions, and it feels like the movie kind of keeps going, but also like having like the camera just follow one character and see like almost like if it's one take. Like, especially if there's multiple characters in a room, you're just seeing the camera pan very slowly and you're seeing everybody interact with this one character. So, yeah, visuals, apart from that, the camera work, that really worked for me as well. Another thing that I got to call out is, did you notice that one shot where the carriage is taking Thomas after like he's already kind of, in a way, been possessed? And then the camera just kind of, like a drone goes towards the castle? And it kind of goes like inside.
Yeah.
Like that was one of my favorite like moments of this film. It's like, oh man, this is like such a cool shot. Like because like you're kind of scared of like what's gonna be inside, but then the camera's forcing you to kind of as an audience member to go into the castle. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so I really like that.
Even the carriage shot, like there was one earlier where it was Thomas and Ellen were in the carriage.
Yep.
And it's like straight on both of them.
Yes.
And we have this one where Thomas is going to the castle and it's just him by himself and it's dark and he's scared.
Yep.
It's almost like
almost like opposite like sides of the spectrum of that side. Yeah. Mr. Rum, apart from visuals, what other pro that you got?
The performances. Yeah. Everybody was good, and there's like a certain feel with like classical movies or like movies set like in older times.
Yeah.
Where everything feels like a play almost. The way they talk and the way they're dressed, it feels like you're watching
something classic.
Yeah, but you could tell like it's a performance, but it's a performance you enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. Like a period piece. It's always fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like especially like again, kind of going back to the camera work where you're sometimes seeing like the camera doesn't cut, and so you're seeing all the actors having to perform that one specific scene in one take with Willem Dafoe when he starts interacting with the other characters. I'm like, man, this is all like
it's like an old movie.
Yeah,
old movies had like long shots.
It's like an old school type of a style of filming it. So I was like, oh, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Mr. Rome, other pro that I have. Did you at all think that the movie was like not on purpose but was funny? Like I put like it was almost inadvertently kind of funny where there's certain scenes where like I was laughing but I don't know if I was meant to laugh. Like I'll tell you one scene.
This is a pro?
This is a pro for me. Yeah, because I didn't expect the movie to be funny. I thought it was going to be dark.
I don't remember any funny scenes.
Don't you remember the part where Thomas goes to the village and everybody's just laughing at him?
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. I was like, well, because
how's that funny?
Because it almost felt like everybody knew that he was a fool for coming to the castle. Because it almost felt like everybody was in on the joke. Like the audience knew that like Count Orlok, like, okay, this seems like it's something bad. Even his boss, who was telling them of the assignment, was like laughing, like before he even got like assigned to it, like that project. And then the village starts laughing at him. The guy that was like waiting outside the cabin was laughing at him. It's like something about that scene just like made me laugh. Of like, almost everybody knows the joke that like what's going on, like something's bad's gonna happen to Thomas, but he himself doesn't know. And so I was like, I thought that was, dude, that to me made me laugh.
Do you have another one?
Willem Dafoe, like almost like he was like a sleeper agent, like when he was like sitting down, and then his doctor friend telling him like some type of words, and he's like, oh, like Seaver, how's it going, like that, and it just kind of wakes up.
Well, you know what? Willem Dafoe is funny in every movie.
Yeah,
but unintentionally funny in every movie.
Well, that's why I guess I should have said inadvertently or unintentionally. The movie just feels like it has some funny scenes.
But I don't know if that would be a pro for me.
That to me is a pro.
Really?
Because it catches me off guard, and
but it's not intended.
It's not intended.
So
no.
why would that be a pro?
Because it catches me off guard. It's a surprise to me.
But it
doesn't take away.
But it wasn't like an intended surprise.
It wasn't an intended surprise, yeah. But it still adds another element to the movie. Like that's what I appreciate sometimes. You know where it also, remember I mentioned it before, but like when we watch Trap also has like these like unintentional funny moments. But again, it's like a pro to me because like, oh, you made me laugh in a movie that's like not intended to make me laugh. I'm supposed to be maybe a little bit scared, but it might ease the tension a little bit to then hopefully rise again to kind of scare me. So I don't know. I kind of view it as a pro for my side, at least. Mr. Rome, anything else on your side for pros? You said performances, visuals. No. I got another one. I think the costume design and the production is spot on. Like Omar mentioned it's a period piece, but everything about the way that the characters are kind of walking around, like when Thomas is running from his house all the way to his state job that he has, he's like running through like all the streets of Germany. Dude, everything feels like so real. Like there's no, I don't know, like it doesn't feel like they're, even if it is a backlot, like it feels like realistic. Like the sound effects that it makes when he's walking around, the snow, everything from the ambiance. I think they nailed the ambiance of like feeling like very gloomy, very dark type of a movie, which I think adds to like my enjoyment of like overall of like why I thought it was good. Is like when it can nail like it, making it feel like very gloomy, all these dark shots, and it just feels like it's I don't know, like it's trying to cast a shadow on like that's kind of what they were representing in the movie for Nosferatu, is like he's like a shadow over the city. That's kind of what they were able to nail, at least from a vibe perspective. And I think that has to do with production and like everything that everybody was wearing. So I thought that was cool. Another thing that I kind of added to the production and the costume design was the way that they added kind of like some of the blood like to Ellen whenever like it would rain from her eyes or like anything like that. I always think that those are like cool aspects of that. And I'm hoping that it was like something like realistic that they could just do with makeup rather than just like something that was digitally added to her eyes. But love those kind of like shots when she's just like looking up very quickly. And then Count Orlok, the way that Bill Skarsgård looked, again, I completely forgot that it was him. Until like afterwards, I'm like, gosh, this guy, even like when you see clear shots of what Count Orlok looks like, he just gets lost in there like that. And so I kind of want to give a shout out to Bill Skarsgård. Like, I hope he keeps doing these wacky things where he's been Pennywise. He's been Count Orlok. He's like the Crow. I hope he keeps doing these wacky things where like he just kind of like you just don't see him in the character and he just keeps doing these crazy, like unbelievable roles. The only like normal role that I feel like he's done is like John Wick 4 when he was the villain. And it's like, that's the only time like we've actually seen him like act like that way. But yeah, I just wanted to call that out. It's like, it's unbelievable that kind of designed that how he looked. What do you think about the mustache?
You know what? We disagree here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I thought Count Orlok was underwhelming.
Ooh, okay.
It was not like, it wasn't. I'm more scared of the 1922 Nosferatu. I thought that was a better design than what they had this time.
So is this a con, or is this something that you just kind of came up with?
It was a con.
Damn, okay.
Like, it was so cool when they kept him in the shadows for so long. But then when it was finally revealed, I was like, this is not that cool. And then, like, you shout out Bill Skarsgård, you know? I'm kind of like, enough with the characters, you know? Like, I think it's time to give him a rest from like disguising himself, you know?
That's so funny.
Because all I could think about was just him going like above and beyond to disguise himself.
Yeah.
But I could see the performance, you know? Like, he was so different that I could tell he was trying to be different from like anything he's ever done before.
Yeah.
It's almost like I could tell he was like disguising himself. Like with the way he was talking, it just kind of felt like a caricature.
Oh, okay. I actually enjoyed, and that's one thing that I forgot to mention on the performance, is that I actually enjoyed the voice that he did. Like,
really?
But again, it's because I know him as Pennywise the clown. I know him as like these other characters like the Crow. So like him changing and doing his voice on purpose, like to me didn't feel like a caricature. It felt like, okay, he's on purpose like wanting to be so different that he's unrecognizable. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
like,
I like
we
that.
have the same opinion on that.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
But I like it.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Rome, I think this is a perfect like jump off point to jump into cons. So you mentioned like is that one of the cons is like just him again feeling like a caricature where you felt underwhelmed.
Yeah.
And then funny enough, Liz also came to watch it with us, and she also felt the same way. She felt like after she found out that he was Nosferatu, he's like, oh, that's it? Like,
right. And because there's so much secrecy about how he looked, where I guess that could be a good thing and a bad thing. Because when it's a bad thing, because like your expectations sometimes are going to be a little too high.
Yep.
And I guess that's what happened. But I feel like if they would have just kept the design similar to the 1922 one, I think that would have been effective. Because it's creepy looking.
Yeah.
Like pale face, like
long fingernails like that.
Fingernails.
Still kind of bald, like almost like a big head like that in a way, like deformed
like
head.
pointy ears and like it looked creepy.
Yeah.
I just maybe feel like they were trying to do too much, and
yeah,
I don't know.
Or be too different, or be something like a little bit separate from the original one. That way, it doesn't get compared in that way.
Yeah, it just didn't feel like scary.
Got it. I can see that. That's a fair con. Mr. Rome,
well, you brought up the mustache. What did you think about the mustache?
It made me
another one of the inadvertent. Bothered me.
No, it made me laugh again.
So a pro.
Because I wasn't expecting him to have a mustache, and so when I saw him, I was like, is he really gonna be like Count? Oh, okay, yeah, he is Count Orlok. Okay, so he is Nosferatu. He has a mustache. And I was like, okay, very interesting like that.
Did you think like he was gonna like the mustache was like a disguise, and then once he became Nosferatu, he was dropped the mustache? Because I thought that.
I didn't think that in the movie, but now that you say it, like that makes total sense of like why it would have been a great setup to be like, oh, like he's just trying to pretend like he's one of like us, like a human, and then at the end he's like, no, I'm not, and then it's like rip it off,
like SpongeBob, he rips off the mustache.
But yeah, like I don't know, it didn't bug me, but it made me laugh. I was like, he has a mustache. I was like. And I remember seeing pictures of the original Nosferatu, and I was like, he didn't have one. So I'm like, okay, so this is like the creative part of maybe of like Robert Eggers of like wanting to be a little bit different, not have it be compared. So yeah, it was all right, you know. Didn't really bother me. Again, it adds to like the actual costume design that they set up for his character. Mr. Rome, if I can jump to one of my cons, I really enjoyed Lily Rose Depp's performance as Ellen, and I really liked the character, but I feel like I didn't really care for her that much, and that sucks because she's really the main protagonist. She's the one that, again, spoiler warning for anybody that hasn't seen the movie, but she's the one that obviously brings on this shadow of Nosferatu, but she's also the one that saves the day. And it sucks that when she dies, I didn't really care that much. Like, I didn't feel anything. And I feel like, at least for me, what would have made a bigger impact in order for me to care for her is I think I need more as to why she felt lonely enough to call on this entity. Like, and thinking back to it, it kind of sucks that it starts with her just kind of praying already and like, hey, like she's lonely, she's desperate, and she wants somebody to be with her. But I need more. Like I need to either visually see why does she feel lonely like that. Give me even if it's like a little montage of like what she went through as like a child, like something like that to kind of give me much more to connect to her. And like that's what I just didn't feel within the movie. Like anytime she was on, again, her performances amazing. How she would like cry on the spot, feel like she was possessed, and then go back to normal was great. But I never felt anything. It was never like I wanted to feel something.
We had the same con because I had the same thing, and I think I figured out why. Her performance was great.
Yeah,
I think it was how they wrote her character. She was one tone. All we ever saw was her being distressed. Yeah. The whole movie. There was no arc.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like every time she would pop on screen, I already knew what we were gonna get, and she even repeated stuff a few scenes. They had her character. There's one scene that really bothered me where it's like when Nicholas Hoult is in the castle and then he passes out.
Yeah,
and it cuts to her.
Mm-hmm.
That scene does nothing. She repeats what she said before already. How she misses Thomas. How she has these dreams, and then her friend just tells her it's like
it's okay.
Yeah, and it goes back to Thomas.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what we got the whole movie. We just got the same stuff from that character.
Yeah.
I feel like they didn't develop her character enough.
Exactly.
You're right. If we would have seen more of her background, or I don't know, develop her character more, and I think we would have cared more about her.
Yeah, that's a good call out, dude. There is only like one kind of dimension to her, is like she's always either again possessed or in pain or just like worried of like when is Thomas coming back? Is he okay?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it's like we need something more.
Yeah, which sucks again because she is meant to be the character that you're supposed to connect to, but I connected more to Von Franz, which is Willem Dafoe's character. As soon as he came in, he added the energy that I was looking for in this movie. Like I was looking for something like okay, like as soon as again he woke up, like he was like a sleeper agent. As soon as like he was like sitting on his chair, and when he started coming out and interacting with Thomas, with Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, with Lily Rose Depp, something clicked. Like something just worked when he was on screen. I was like, okay, that's what I was looking for, and I cared more about him. I cared more about like, was he gonna die? Like, is he something gonna happen to him? And so that's the unfortunate parts. That's one of the cons. Mr. Rome, any other cons on your side? You mentioned, I think we were locked in on the performance and not connecting to Ellen. You mentioned in regards to really the not feeling the fear of Nosferatu. Anything else?
It's all story related. My cons are story related.
Got it.
Like I don't like Nosferatu's whole deal. I don't understand what they're doing.
Yeah.
Look, I feel like this could have gone either one or two ways. Mm-hmm. Like he was kind of motivated just to get to Ellen the whole time.
Correct.
Or let's talk about this.
Break it down. Break it down.
How does he get defeated?
He gets defeated by Sunrise.
Sunrise, but he's having like sex with Helen.
That's right.
Or like sucking her blood.
Yep.
And like an undead, demonic, powerful being dies this way. You know what it reminds me of?
What does it remind you of?
You know, Mr. Mixelpix from Superman?
No.
It's that character voiced by Gilbert Gottfried.
Uh-huh.
You never seen that before?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, is this like fifth dimensional being?
Is he like a tiny?
Yeah, tiny.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Where he's so powerful and not even Superman can handle him.
Yes. Okay.
And Superman gets rid of him by just having him say his name backwards.
That's right.
That's what this movie felt like to me. Because he watches the sun come up and then she goes like, oh, keep on sucking my blood.
Yeah. Just brings him back in.
He's like, okay. And he dies. Dude, you're a demonic, overpowered demon.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Because you know what doesn't make sense to me? I'm fine with that. They could have done that. Mm-hmm. But don't have him bring plagues to the town. Don't have him kill countless people. Because that makes him overpowered.
You're overstating what he's able to do within, like, yeah.
And why is he doing that to begin with?
Dude, he's taking over, dude. He bought land.
But he only wants Ellen.
That's true.
I don't get what's the point of this. Like, either do one or two things. Have him be this demonic being that wants to destroy this whole town. Mm-hmm. Or just have him go after Ellen.
Yeah.
I feel like a better movie for me would have been just a triangle. Thomas, Ellen, Nosferatu. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Because one of my favorite scenes was when Ellen and Thomas start arguing.
Yeah.
But you could tell they both have they're both a little out of it.
Exactly. Almost under the spell of Nosferatu in a way.
And then Ellen goes like, you'll never please me like he did. And then they both start going even crazier. I feel like that would have been a better movie. Mm-hmm. Make it less of a grand scale. Don't make it where he's possessing the whole town.
Yeah.
Make it small. But make it only between Thomas, Ellen, and Nosferatu. And that would have been, for me, it would have made more sense. Because I feel like that would have been a cool movie. Like, to see them both get possessed near the beginning.
Yeah.
And then just watch them descend into madness.
And then everybody around them thinking, like, what the hell is wrong with this couple here? But not knowing that it's actually Nosferatu over them. I was like, yeah.
It's just the motivation to me wasn't consistent.
Yeah. Or it wasn't strong enough for you to like, oh heck yeah, like to really kind of capture you and love this movie in that way.
Yeah, because like by the end, it feels like it's an underwhelming finish.
Yeah,
I'm like, what the hell? That's how this strong ass demon dies.
Dude, it's the power of love, dude. He loved Ellen so much, dude, that you're like, you know what? I'm gonna keep sucking this blood. Nothing can stop me. And look at that sunrise.
I don't know, man. And do you have another con? Because I have more.
Yeah, my only other con was the feeling of it being too slow. Again, kind of going back to it, like I mentioned, and I guess I mentioned too much of the pros and cons in the beginning. But
I'm telling you, you were like,
well, I wanted to dive into like I want to give at least a kind of like an idea, but to me, again, it's not that the movie feels long. It doesn't feel like long. It feels appropriate. Like I appreciated my time watching the movie, but I think to a fault, because it looks so visually amazing, some of the scenes just take too long and stay on a specific shot too long. Like you don't like. There's a specific shot where you have Ellen walking when she's sleepwalking outside of a house, and that shot looks beautiful. It looks so like symmetrically, it looks perfect. But I think it stays on for like 5 seconds too long. Like you could just stay on it for like 3, 4, 5 seconds. Okay, then move on to like where is she going? What's happening? Why is she possessed? So I feel like there's a lot of scenes within the movie that just take too long. So that's my last con. It's just it feels like if the scenes would have been cut a little bit more and just make easy transitions, like one of my pros that I was mentioning, like just transition everything a lot neater like that. I think this movie would have been like at 2 hours. I think it would have been even better. But again, that's just the feeling that I got, and I think that's what dragged me down, because one of my bad things, Omar, and this is just me personally, when a movie starts dragging and feeling slow, it makes me wander, and it makes me start thinking, okay, well, am I having fun? Yeah, I'm having fun. Okay, yeah. Well, what's my favorite shot so far? Okay, I literally love this shot. And then like, I don't want to be thinking when I'm watching the movie. I want to be like a part of the story in that way. So that's my last con. What about you, Mr. Rome?
Yeah, we had the same one too. I was gonna say like the movie could have been streamlined.
Yeah.
There are scenes where I was like the one I just brought up, that one was pointless.
Yeah.
And then let me tell you this.
Tell me, man.
Aaron Taylor Johnson's character and his whole family could have been removed from the movie and nothing would change.
Oh, that's a good point.
Do you agree?
I think I do. Now that you brought it up, I wasn't paying attention because, yeah, if you think about it, they all die. And that it doesn't really lead to anything other than maybe Ellen feeling like the understanding of like, okay, I got to stop people that I care about from dying, maybe. And so like now she understands that she has to sacrifice. But I totally understand. Them not being included in the movie doesn't change Thomas, doesn't change Ellen. Maybe I think the only key part is that Aaron Taylor Johnson, his character, needs to seek Willem Dafoe's character. That's maybe like the only reason why you might need him in the movie. But I totally understand that their impact is not like significant.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of scenes where like they added something. I don't feel like we needed them.
Yeah,
I feel like the movie could have been streamlined way more.
Agreed.
Cut a lot more scenes, characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of my cons.
Anything else, Mr. Rome? Any other cons? Those were mine, the ones that I kind of called out.
No, I think that's it.
I will say this, and I want to kind of ask you, in comparison to Lighthouse, did Lighthouse feel like dragging like that or slow in those kind of ways, or did you feel like that was more streamlined?
I think you're more. I was so confused that I didn't have time to be like, oh, the movie's taking a long time. I wanted more to understand more.
Got it. So that's why you feel like you would rewatch that one, like because you want to pick
just
apart
to understand it more.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was gonna say for The Northman, if you ever watch that movie, it's the exact same way. Visually, dude, it looks amazing. Like the different places that they visit, like Alexander Skarsgård fighting, the choreography, everything like feels like very real and raw. But it has the same kind of like, at least issues for me, is that it drags too much. The story is very simplistic and like, you know, it just, nothing kind of captures my attention to be like, oh man, like this was, I'm going to be thinking about this after the movie's over. I wasn't thinking that way. I was thinking more of like why was it so funny, you know? Like why was he wearing a mustache, you know? Like I was like so, things like that, you know?
And you might take this as a diss, or I don't know, not to you, to the director,
Dude,
Robert
you can diss
Eggers.
me anytime you want.
Like his movies kind of give me Zack Snyder vibes.
Oh,
where the movie looks incredible, but the story is just something's always a little off.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't really feel. You want to like it more than you do.
That's a great way to articulate it. That's what I felt. That's why I told Liz afterwards. I was like, I want to love this movie.
Yeah.
I just can't. And I was like,
Yeah.
something about it holds me back. And it's really some of the cons that I had.
Yep.
Mr. Rome, any other cons that you can think of or anything?
No, nothing else.
No? Okay. Well, let's go ahead and move on, man. Let's kind of move away from some of the negative and kind of wrap it up with some positive stuff. Let's talk about some of our favorite performances, favorite scenes, and favorite shots. Mr. Rome, kick us off. Favorite performance out of all the performances that came out in Nosferatu?
Whew. Yeah, I liked Nicholas Holt's character the most.
Oh.
Like, he was the person I was rooting for the most.
Yeah.
But would I say that's my favorite character? Because there's some more interesting characters like Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
I'll just say Nicholas Holt.
Nice. I like that. You know what? Out of all the characters, too, apart from Willem Dafoe, he was another character that you didn't want to root because, like, again, he felt like he was not in on the joke. Like I was mentioning before, like, he felt like he wasn't aware like something was gonna happen, and yet like he still finds a way to like, okay, I still want to do what's right and stop this vampire, this Count Orlok in some way. So that's a good choice, man. I'm gonna choose Willem Dafoe. Again, I thought he brought the energy that I was looking for this movie. As soon as his part of the movie, like that, like after the second act, whenever he comes out onward, everything that he comes in, it works for me. Talking to Ellen, talking to Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, him and the other doctor, like Severs, I think, like that, like just their pairing like that.
They had good chemistry.
They did, and like it just worked like that. It almost felt like they were like detectives, like trying to like, Sherlock Holmes and Watson, like that.
Yeah,
like trying to figure out like how we're gonna stop this thing. And so I don't know. Again, like Omar, you mentioned it. Anytime Willem Dafoe comes out, whether it's a side character, like a little cameo, to me, he always steals the show. Like he always performs. He always does. I still, again, I want to throw a spotlight to Lily Rose Depp. Again, her performance was amazing, but again, I feel like I couldn't connect with her character as much, and I could connect really much to Willem Dafoe. So yeah, that's my favorite performance is Willem Dafoe just putting on a crazy show like that. It was funny when he started like throwing the fire like on that grave or something like that and burning stuff, and he's just like he's just having like a great time, even though he should be like almost like scared, but he was never scared throughout the movie. So yeah, that was my favorite performance. Mr. Rome, favorite scene or moment in the movie?
My favorite scene is when Thomas is in the castle, and it's just after he's gotten his like blood sucked and everything, and he finds Nosferatu's crypt, and he opens it, and then behind him there's like sun shooting through the windows. Yeah. But then like it starts to get dark right behind him. Yeah. And as soon as it gets dark, he wants to stab Nosferatu, and he wakes up and grabs his arm. That was a cool scene. Because also like the first time we see him like fully in light. Yes. And that was cool.
I like that scene. Anything in the castle, I think, was like, beautiful. Yeah. I love that. Mr. O, my favorite scene, no surprise, Willem Dafoe again. But this time when he's in the home of Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, and almost like it's like a possession. When Lily Rose Depp, like when she starts getting possessed and starts talking, like almost like as Nosferatu. You
didn't get scared?
A little. As soon as it started dealing with possession, I was like, okay,
your weakness.
I'm in trouble. And so no, but that whole scene, like how Willem Dafoe was like still trying to control her like that, and it's like I was like, why is she tied up? And then like all this different stuff, and like he just knew exactly what to do, even though people called him crazy. It's like, like I'm gonna figure it out in some way. That whole scene and interaction again, and it was one take. It never cut. When they were doing that, like until until Lily Rose Depp got into like that character of like talking, up until that point, it was just Willem Dafoe talking, and then even like my favorite part was when she goes, I'm paraphrasing, but if you must be repugnant of what you're gonna see, like please don't let me know. And then remember when he pokes her like that, and then they're like, and then Aaron Taylor Johnson's like, oh, like no, that I can't, and he goes like, stop, like don't turn away like that, or whatever he says. He was just like don't be scared like that, like we have to do these things. Like she's not being hurt. Look, she's being possessed. And I was like, everything about that just worked for me in that scene. All right, Mr. Rome.
It was cool.
Last favorite thing, favorite shot of the movie of Nosferatu.
This is the hardest one.
Yes,
but my favorite shots came when Thomas arrived at the castle. But from there, I don't know which one to pick. I might pick the one where he's at the castle door. Yeah. And the door's open super slowly. And you see Nosferatu's silhouette just standing far back.
And the two dogs like right next to. Yeah. I love that shot.
No, before that.
Oh, before that. Oh.
Where he's standing kind of farther away.
Oh, yeah.
We're just kind of standing there farther like in the background.
Yeah.
But the one of the two dogs is also... That one came out in the trailer.
It did.
And it still looked good in the movie. That one was so cool.
Love it. Mr. O, mine also includes Thomas. My favorite shot, Omar, like you mentioned, there's a lot of different ones like in the castle. Mine is actually before he gets picked up at the carriage, when he's walking in the middle of a crossroad.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't see him. You just see his silhouette. You don't see his face. You see the top hat. You just see him stop right in the middle of the road. You can see the snow and the trees around him. Dude, that shot looked amazing. I was like, wow, this looks incredible. And again, that's one that I appreciated that it stayed for a little bit longer, because that just, it looks visually captivating. You're like, damn, I can look at this. This could be something that I could like watch every single day, or at least have like as a screensaver. Like, just, it looks so cool. So that was my favorite shot of the movie. Guys, those are our thoughts, pros and cons, what we enjoyed, what we didn't enjoy so much about Nosferatu. But now here comes the important question. Is Nosferatu timeless? Is it something that we could rewatch over and over again, add it to a rotation, or be part of our movie collection? Mr. Rome, I'll start with you. We've talked a lot about it. We've dissected a lot about what we liked and didn't like. Is Nosferatu a timeless movie for you?
No.
Man, straight up, no.
Nah. I want to rewatch it for the visuals,
Yeah.
but I think the story would just make me mad.
Every time Nosferatu dies, you're like,
Or just
come
like,
on.
Or like the unnecessary scenes and stuff. I'd be like, all right.
I'm in agreement with Mr. Ohm. This movie, again, I enjoyed. I'd still recommend people at least check it out and watch it, especially like Omar mentioned. It's still, for him, it's a scary movie. For me, it's kind of, again, dark horror kind of filled, but I would still recommend people check it out just because we've already said it multiple times on this podcast. It's just so beautiful to look at. So definitely recommend to check it out. But in my opinion, not timeless. It just feels like it drags a lot, too many times. And when a movie, again, starts to drag, makes me think during the movie, or it takes me out of it, I'm like, it's just already something that just doesn't work for me. And it sucks because the more I think about it, Mr. Ohm, performances are great. Visually, stunning. The music, I forgot to mention how good the music was to me. Like the music of like that very like, I don't even know what instrument it is, but it just feels like it's trying to like amp you up like before something scary happens. Everything separately works so well. But I think together, like, or like the story of it is like,
that's what I was thinking of when I was laying in bed last night trying to fall asleep.
Yeah.
I was like, because I was thinking about this movie.
Yeah.
I was like, what makes a movie good? Like, because this has it all, but the story's lacking, and that makes me hate it. Why? Like, so what's really the most important part of a movie? Like, is the story really the main focus?
I mean, it depends, right? Like, because there's sometimes the character arc is the most important part, and like the story's like, yeah, it's like an element of what makes it good, right? But then other times it's like the story that really makes that drives you home. I'm like, oh,
but
man,
like, do you have to like a story to like a movie?
Ooh.
Like, I'm starting to think of like what movies I like, and do I like it because of the story only? I don't know. Like, I can't think off the top of my head, but
Yeah,
I don't know. But this movie's not timeless for me.
I'm with you, man. It unfortunately isn't timeless. But guys, those are just our thoughts, our opinions of Nosferatu. We want to hear from you guys. What do you think about Nosferatu? Did you enjoy it? Have you got a chance to see it over the holiday break? If you have, let us know down below in the comments, in the reviews of other platforms. Let us know what you thought about Nosferatu. That way we can interact and talk about this movie a little bit more. All right, guys. Thank you so much for all those that listened all the way through. Mr. Ohm, I got to thank you again for joining me on episode 105. I hope you had a good time talking and dissecting Nosferatu.
I did.
Even though his power set was just too much, he shouldn't have ended his story like that. But
or they could have ended like that. Just don't make him so powerful.
I got it. Oh, man. Well, Omar, again, appreciate you, man, joining me. That has been episode 105. This has been Omar and Victor Vasquez from the Timeless Movie Podcast. Make sure to check out next week's episode as we're going to be talking about our top movies of 2024. I am super excited. Mr. Ohm is actually going to join us again.
Yeah.
And we don't know each other's list. I'm excited for his top 10. I'm excited for his honorable mentions. It's going to be a really fun time. So make sure to check that one out on the channel or on all platforms as well. But again, hope you guys are enjoying the holiday break. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk to you guys later.